Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is, as Dustin reminded us all, Thermonuclear Thursday, March 14th, 2013. Another great day to get fired up about life. Another great day to be excited about dreaming, hoping, making plans, masterminding, tapping into the power of our subconscious minds, moving forward, living an inspired life, my friends. And I'll tell you what it's another great day to be doing. Last night I had the opportunity to hang out with some entrepreneurs, some people of real substance, some people that, have taken action in their lives and produced results and had persistence and plowed through temporary setbacks. And one of those guys is an individual that gets on our calls. He's a member of our mastermind group. He's a great leader in the home business profession. His name is Franco Gonzalez. And one of the things that he said last night that I thought of when I was running on the treadmill this morning is he said, if you're doing anything else in the morning other than thanking God for another day to be alive, or thanking the universe, if you prefer that, that term, if you're doing anything other than just expressing gratitude, if you're out there maybe complaining and looking at your problems and setting up more roadblocks for yourself, he said if you're doing anything other than expressing gratitude, you need to be on this morning call. And that fired me up. That got me excited because I realized that that's one of the things that we do on this call is we help each other recognize the great treasures of life. We help each other be grateful for those. We help each other cultivate a positive mental attitude. We help each other cultivate this mindset of abundance and wealth and prosperity and happiness and this mindset of the entrepreneur, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm curious to know if there's anyone else on this Thermonuclear Thursday that is feeling just maybe a little bit of gratitude for being alive and maybe a little bit of gratitude for some of those other things, or maybe even some gratitude for some things that I didn't even mention that you're thinking about, maybe your family, whatever it is. I'm going to open up the lines, and if you're feeling grateful today, let the Think and Grow Rich family hear it. Wow. Thank you for that. I'll tell you what, every time we do that, the energy just comes through the lines, and it fires me up, and I know it gets everyone else on the line excited. So thanks for participating in that little exercise. I have a couple of thoughts that I want to share with everyone this morning before we jump into our curriculum, our planned study today, which is Chapter 2 of the book Psycho-Cybernetics. I wanted to share with everyone just a little insight and a couple little stories that have happened in my life recently that are helping me to understand this insight on a little bit deeper level. One of my mentors, somebody that I'm following very closely, someone who's produced phenomenal results financially in his life and also has been able to produce phenomenal results financially in the lives of many people that are associated with him, and otherwise as well. I mean, lots of other results outside of financial results. But anyway, this individual I've been following, I've been noticing he's been saying some stuff that is could be conceived to be a little bit weird, a little bit strange, a little bit out of the ordinary. Things like when you believe in something so strong, when you believe, it's almost like the universe bends and gets out and conforms to bring you whatever it is that you believe in. Things like this. And there have been other statements along these lines. And I'm hearing these statements, and I'm like, yeah, belief's important, but I'm not really understanding what he's talking about. And last couple of days, I picked up this book called The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol. And I started to read this book, and I mentioned it the other day on the call. It's a really fascinating book. And this guy, Claude Bristol, he was an investment banker, actually CEO of a large investment banking firm. So this guy, he's no, like fluffy, puffy, positive thinking cream puff, like sometimes you think of people that write these kind of books, and you think that they're just telling everyone to be positive, and there's no substance to what they're saying. This is a guy, seems like he's got a lot of substance, a lot of real world experience, that has given him some insight into some of the conclusions that he's drawn. And in this book, he talks about how he started to notice as he studied lots of different people, lots of different groups. He talks about, some of the different faiths that he's come across in his life, and he talks about these miraculous results or seemingly miraculous results that he's seen in the lives of believing people, whether they be a part of a particular faith, a part of a particular business. Maybe they've had some unusual success in their lives. They've seen these seemingly miraculous things happen in their lives. And one of the things that Claude Bristol says in this book is he said, the more I experienced and the more people I came in contact with, and the more I looked for the commonality amongst all these seemingly miraculous stories, he says, I started to notice a golden thread running through all of these experiences and all of these stories. And he goes on to tell story after story after story in this book, and the golden thread is belief. And he talks in this book about the power of belief and how when you believe in something, when you really believe in something, it's almost as if your thoughts do have the ability to go out there and shift the universe, so to speak, shift reality, cause things to happen in your life. And he even gives some scientific examples of, some of this stuff that he's talking about. And it's fascinating to me because we get on this call all the time and talk about the power of the mind. So any content that falls along these lines, I eat it up and I want to learn and understand. So I'm reading this book and I'm starting to believe even a little bit deeper. I'm starting to see that there is a real power in belief. And so the other night, I've got 4 little boys, and 3 of them and I one night we're saying our nightly prayers. We pray as a family, and I said to my boys, I said, hey, do you guys know which prayers work and which prayers don't? And they were kind of confused. They're like, no, not really, Dad. And I told them, the ones that you believe in, those are the ones that work. And they kind of nodded, and, I wasn't sure if they got it. But I tried to teach them that lesson. And then the next day, I had an interesting experience, and I want to share it with everyone. Many of you, if you've been on the line for a little while, you heard me talk about my 6-year-old son, Caden, about a week or 2 ago. He wanted to buy a journal for himself, and we got on the internet, and we found this really nice journal all the way from India, handcrafted leather, this beautiful, lock. I mean, really, really high-quality journal for my 6-year-old. And he was anticipating it for like 2 weeks, and it finally got here, and he got it just a few days ago. And the night before he was going to go to school the next day, my wife, Corinne, said, Paul, do you think we should let Caden take this journal to school? And I said, well, yeah, sure, why not? I didn't really think anything of it. My wife, a little bit smarter than me in a lot of areas. She was, kind of thinking, maybe something might happen to us, someone might grab it, so on and so forth. But I just said, no, let's let him take it. So I take Caden to school the next day, and I go to pick him up at 3 o'clock, and he comes out of the front door of his school, and immediately he runs off into the playground. He's like, Dad, my coat. And I look over and I see his coat on the ground, and he goes and picks up his coat, and like all of a sudden you can see the shock and the disappointment in his eyes as he says, my journal is gone. He says, it's gone, Dad. And, he's really sad, and I'm sad too. And I'm like, well, are you sure you put it here? He's like, yes, I know I put it here. I put it here when I set my coat down. And so we got in the car, and I was like, maybe I should have listened to my wife, not let him take this journal to school. I'm thinking about what are we going to do and so on and so forth. So we go home, and And we go through the evening, and then we actually go to sleep. And then the next morning, I wake up, and I'm thinking about this book that I'm reading, this book called The Magic of Believing. And so I say to my son, it was before we get in the car, I'm like, Caden, I believe we're going to find your journal today. I believe that your teacher is going to find this journal. What do you think? And he says, yeah, I believe too, Dad. And I said, good things happen when we believe, son. And he said, yeah. He goes, I believe. And do you know he went to school, and the teacher asked the kids if anyone had seen the journal, and one little girl raised her hand and said that she had seen it, and she'd picked it up and given it to another little girl who had put it in her backpack, and the girl went and got it out of her backpack. And so when I picked my 6-year-old up from school that day, he's got this big smile on his face. I mean, he's beaming when he walks out of the school, and I was like, what are you so happy about? And he doesn't tell me, he's just smiling, and then finally he tells me, he's like, I found my journal, and he pulls it out, and we look at it in the car, and we talk about how awesome it is. And I said, son, do you remember this morning when I said, I believe you're going to find this journal? And he said, yeah. And I said, do you remember you believed? And he said, yeah. And then what happened? Yeah, good things happen to those that believe. And I'm thinking about this story, and I'm thinking about the reaction that some people would have. And in fact, myself, I hear stories like this, and I'm like, yeah, coincidence, right? Coincidence. But then I think about the things that I'm reading in this book by Claude Bristol, The Magic of Believing. And then I'm thinking about things like last night when I was actually masterminding with Mike Hobbs, another member of our mastermind call, just a phenomenal man. Produces incredible results in the home business profession. He helps a lot of people. And he was sharing with me some of his marketing, and I was watching one of his videos, and he was revealing the formula for how he's been able to, go from being $100,000 in debt to almost being out of debt, earning a 6-figure income, traveling the world, and he's revealing this formula in this video. And guess what step 1 of the formula is in this video that I'm watching from Mike Hobbs? He says, you got to believe. That's the first step in the formula. If you don't believe, nothing is going to happen. And then I'm thinking about this line from the Bible that we've all heard. All things are possible to him that believeth. So I'm thinking about, what would I rather do? Would I rather be the person who looks at that experience with my son and says, that was a coincidence? Or would I rather be the person who says, you know what? No, I believe. I believe that when you believe in something so strongly that you know it's going to happen, and you have gratitude and you have faith and you believe, I believe that the universe shifts, that things bend, that things outside the normal tend to happen. People come into your lives. Strategies come into your lives. Plans come into your life. Things happen in just the right way when you believe. And I've got other experiences. Last couple of days I've been believing that I'm going to have a certain result that I know I need to make happen in my business. And finally I just said, I don't know if I've believed it. And I said, I'm going to start believing. I know this is possible. I'm going to believe. I said, in my nightly prayer, and then as I was talking to myself, my subconscious mind, and, before I went to sleep, I said, I know this is possible. And I started thinking about the different plans. I said, please deliver to me a way that I can make this happen. And I know, and I believe it's going to happen. Well, what happens? I happened to see this random Facebook ad yesterday that gives me a little piece of the puzzle. And then I happened to, connect with Mike. I talked about connecting with Mike last night. He gives me another little piece of the puzzle. And I see these other little pieces of the puzzle falling in place to where I don't have the result yet, but I believe it's coming. And it was when I started believing that I started to see these things happen in my life. And as I think back over my business experience and all the books that I've read and the stories that have happened in my life, I have to say that I agree with Claude Bristol when he says there's this golden thread that runs through, like this magic thread that runs through all the books, that runs through all the stories, this commonality, this factor that's always present when magic happens in somebody's life. And this golden thread is belief. And so for me, I'm choosing to believe. And sometimes, you hear people say, you just got to believe. And you're like, yeah, right. Come on, tell me the real scoop. Could it really be that simple? And sometimes, I know it has been for me, you have to read book after book after book. You have to get on call after call after call. You have to have experiences in your life to where finally you start to notice this golden thread running through all of this stuff to where you come to the conclusion that, gosh, maybe it really is that simple that I just need to believe. I think about that other Bible phrase where I think it's Jesus talking about becoming as a little child. He says, you got to become as a little child. And I think about children. I'm so fortunate to have 4 little kids that I can learn from every day. I'll tell you one thing about children, and if you have children, you know this is true. They believe everything mom and dad tell them. They don't doubt. They just believe. If I tell them something, they will believe it. And doesn't it seem like magic is always happening in the life of a child? Isn't that interesting? I wonder if that's a golden thread running through the life of a child that causes magic to happen for them 24/7 all day long because they believe. I think we should be more like little children, my friends, and I'm excited to be cultivating my belief with you and other leaders every day on this call because, if you were to, say there's one goal of this call. We get on this call every day and we talk about all kinds of principles and truths and laws. If there was one goal, gosh, it probably would be to get us to believe. Because when we believe, stuff starts happening, stuff that we can't explain, stuff that seems like out of the ordinary, stuff that when you hear somebody talk about it, you say, oh, come on. You can't be serious. Like kind of has been my reaction when I hear my mentor talk about the universe shifting and bending. When you have a belief and you focus. But the more I learn and more I study, I'll tell you what, there's power in belief, my friends. So with that, let's jump into a little bit of Chapter 2 of the book Psycho-Cybernetics. And I'll tell you one of the things this book does is it helps us start to understand a little bit more of the mechanics behind why this stuff works. And for me, I needed that stuff. I'm kind of a naturally analytical type person, and so I needed some of the mechanics. Some of you might not need it. I did, so this stuff is very useful. This is Chapter 2, Discovering the Success Mechanism Within You. And we'll go through a couple of pages, and we'll open it up for Mastermind here on the call. It may seem strange, but it is nevertheless true that up until 10 years ago, scientists had no idea of just how the human brain and nervous system worked purposely to achieve a goal. They knew what happened from having made long, meticulous observations, but no single theory of underlying principles tied all these phenomena together into a concept that made sense. R.W. Gerard, writing in Scientific Monthly in June 1946 on the brain and imagination, stated that it was sad but true that most of our understanding of the mind would remain as valid and useful if, for all we knew, the cranium were stuffed with cotton wadding. However, when man himself set out to build an electronic brain and to construct goal-striving mechanisms of his own, he had to discover and utilize certain basic principles. Having discovered them, these scientists began to ask themselves, could this be the way the human brain works also? Could it be that in making man, our Creator provided us with a servo mechanism more marvelous and wonderful than any electronic brain or guidance system ever dreamed of by man, but operating according to the same basic principles? In the opinion of famous cybernetic scientists like Dr. Norbert Wiener, Dr. John von Neumann, and others, the answer was an unqualified yes. Every living thing has a built-in guidance system or goal-striving device put there by its creator to help it achieve its goal, which is, in broad terms, to live. In the simpler forms of life, the goal to live simply means physical survival for both the individual and the species. The built-in mechanism in animals is limited to finding food and shelter, avoiding or overcoming enemies and hazards, and procreation to ensure the survival of the species. In man, the goal to live means more than mere survival. For an animal to live simply means that certain physical needs must be met. Man has certain emotional and spiritual needs which animals do not have. Consequently, for man to live encompasses more than physical survival and procreation of the species. It requires certain emotional and spiritual satisfactions as well. Man's built-in success mechanism also is much broader in scope than an animal's. In addition to helping man avoid or overcome danger and the sexual instinct, which helps keep the race alive, the success mechanism in man can help him get answers to problems, invent, write poetry, run a business, sell merchandise, explore new horizons in science, attain more peace of mind, develop a better personality, or achieve success in any other activity which is intimately tied into his living or makes for a fuller life. The success instinct. A squirrel does not have to be taught how to gather nuts, nor does it need to learn that it should store them for winter. A squirrel born in the spring has never experienced winter, yet in the fall of the year it can be observed busily storing nuts to be eaten during the winter months, when there will be no food to be gathered. A bird does not need to take lessons in nest building, nor does it need to take courses in navigation, yet birds do navigate thousands of miles, sometimes over open sea. They have no newspapers or TV to give them weather reports, no books written by explorer or pioneer birds to map out for them the warm areas of the earth. Nonetheless, the bird knows when cold weather is imminent and the exact location of a warm climate, even though it may be thousands of miles away. In attempting to explain such things, we usually say that animals have certain instincts which guide them. Analyze all such instincts and you will find they assist the animal to successfully cope with its environment. In short, animals have a success instinct. We often overlook the fact that man too has a success instinct, much more marvelous and much more complex than that of any animal. Our Creator did not shortchange man. On the other hand, man was exceptionally blessed in this regard. Animals cannot select their goals. Their goals, self-preservation and procreation, are preset, so to speak, and their success mechanism is limited to these built-in goal images, which we call instincts. Man, on the other hand, has something animals haven't, creative imagination. Thus, man of all creatures is more than a creature. He is also a creator. With his imagination, he can formulate a variety of goals. Man alone can direct his success mechanism by the use of imagination or imaging ability. We often think of creative imagination as applying only to poets, inventors, and the like. But imagination is creative in everything we do. Although they did not understand why or how imagination sets our creative mechanism into action, serious thinkers of all ages, as well as hard-headed practical men, have recognized the fact and made use of it. Imagination rules the world, said Napoleon. Imagination of all man's faculties is the most godlike, said Glenn Clark. The faculty of imagination is the great spring of human activity and the principal source of human achievement. Destroy this faculty and the condition of man will become as stationary as that of the brutes, said Dugald Stewart, the famous Scottish philosopher. You can imagine your future, says Henry J. Kaiser, who attributes much of his success in business to the constructive, positive use of creative imagination. How your success mechanism works. You are not a machine, but new discoveries in the science of cybernetics all point to the conclusion that your physical brain and nervous system make up a servo mechanism which you use, and which operates very much like an electronic computer and a mechanical goal-seeking device. Your brain and nervous system constitute a goal-striving mechanism, which operates automatically to achieve a certain goal, very much as a self-aiming torpedo or missile seeks out its target and steers its way to it. Your built-in servo mechanisms function both as a guidance system to automatically steer you in the right direction to achieve certain goals or make correct responses to environment, and also as an electronic brain, which can function automatically to solve problems, give you needed answers, and provide new ideas or inspirations. In his book, The Computer and the Brain, Dr. John von Neumann says that the human brain possesses the attributes of both the analog and the digital computers. The word cybernetics comes from a Greek word which means literally the steersman. Servo mechanisms are so constructed that they automatically steer their way to a goal, target, or answer. When we conceive of the human brain and nervous system as a form of servo mechanism operating in accordance with cybernetic principles, we gain a new insight into the why and wherefore of human behavior. I choose to call this new concept psycho-cybernetics, the principles of cybernetics as applied to the human brain. I must repeat, psycho-cybernetics does not say that man is a machine. Rather, it says that man has a machine which he uses. Let us examine some of the similarities between mechanical servo mechanisms and the human brain. And I think that's a good place to stop for today. Just so important that we understand we have this equipment that is given to us at birth that can literally steer us to any goal that we select, hold in our minds, and believe in. And just real quick before I open up the lines for mastermind discussions, I was going through this and I was thinking about kind of the opening comments and belief. I remembered a story that I heard last night, again, as I was hanging out with some of these other leaders. There was this guy named Travis who brand new to, or fairly new to the home business profession, and he talked about how he started to believe that he was going to have a certain amount of money come into his life. I think it was like $3,000, and then it went to $5,000, but it was $3,000 to start off with. And he talked about how he started to get close to the deadline for his major definite purpose. And I think he said it didn't seem like it was going to happen, but he said to himself, I'm going to believe anyway, even though he didn't know how it was going to happen. And he ended up sponsoring this 20-year-old kid who comes in and makes like $30,000 his first or second month, and that's part of helping Travis get to his goal, and he got it because he believed and he knew he had this servo mechanism that Dr. Maxwell Maltz is talking about, to where, this success mechanism. And it's fascinating stuff, my friend. So, hey, I'm going to stop talking. I'm anxious to hear your thoughts. Let me go ahead and open up the line.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Paul.
Star 6, and I heard a lady jumping out there. Who was that just said hi, Paul? Lady.
Good morning, Paul.
Hey, Melvin. We had a lady coming out. Who was the lady? Hit star 6, and then Melvin, you're next, if that's all right.
Hear me?
Yeah, very faintly.
Oh, sorry, I'm in transit. Anyway, the call was fantastic. This is Dorenza from New York. Call was excellent, and I really, really, really appreciate the talk about believing, and it's just basically turbo boosting faith, as you say in the Bible. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, and the power of believing is just really turbo boosting those principles. So thank you so much for bringing that out, and I really enjoyed the story with your son. So thanks, back to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Dorenza. Appreciate that. Melvin, go ahead.
Can you hear me, Paul?
I sure can.
Yeah, I just want to say this ties into everything else we've been talking about in terms of you become what you think about. And this belief thing is working for every single person right now because with every single person, what you believe in, be it good or bad, you're drawing that to you. You become like a magnet and start pulling that to you. And so it will work for everyone, but are you using it to work for you? This goal-striving device that we speak of here is so powerful, and therefore the stronger the belief, the faster and the bigger and the more powerful does this whole thing happen. So what you believe in and how strong you believe in it makes all the difference in the world. So make sure that you're believing in those things that are positive and good for both you and for others. And back to you, Paul.
Oh, awesome thoughts, Melvin. Thank you. Star
Hey,
Six
Paul.
is next. Yeah,
Hey, Paul,
who's
this
that?
is Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey.
Lisa and then Cater. Go ahead, Lisa.
Good morning. Think Growers family. I just wanted to say, Paul, that every day I'm amazed about how great this call is. My goodness, I just love it. And I love you, Paul. I really love your stories. Man, by me having two sons, one 5 and one that is 1, you're an inspiration to me, as far as a woman and how I can help in training my children. So I just wanted to tell you that. And dealing with, I've read Psycho-Cybernetics before a couple of times. I even got my husband reading it. And this was one of the most impactful chapters for me because I've always known within myself that whenever I have a goal, anything, whether it's I've run 5Ks before, so I will do anything to get to that goal as long as I run the race, whatever it is. So I've always known that if I've had something put before me, I will really strive to do that. And I never understood why that was until I read Psycho-Cybernetics. But another book that I read, which deals with the power of belief that we were talking about, is that when I was reading The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, one of the things he gives a formula, and he says thoughts equals feelings equals actions. Thoughts plus feelings plus actions equal results. Thoughts plus feelings plus actions equal results. And now after rereading, reviewing the Psycho-Cybernetics, I now realize that those thoughts really are plus the feelings, and those feelings create the belief. So for me, that was just a light bulb that turned on because, feeling just sounds like such a mansy-pansy word, like, well, okay, I can have feelings. But now it has sort of solidified that process for me because you do have thoughts, meaning we all are on the Think and Grow Rich calls, and we have our major definite purpose. We have if you have your different goals. I have some goals that I desire in the next 2 weeks that, just like Travis, they'll seem quite, I don't know how, but those are my thoughts. But now I'm going to put true belief, like what you said, Paul. Those thoughts will equal that feeling of belief, because belief really is a feeling. It's a feeling inside that you have that you can do it, you can make it, you can handle it, whatever it is. So those thoughts equals that feeling of belief. Then those actions, the actions that I'm taking every day, will equal the result. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, Paul. Back to you.
Lisa, so awesome. I love you, and I love hearing your wisdom. Just beautiful. Thank you. Cater, go ahead, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, Paul, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You sound great.
Oh, my God. I am so excited coming on this call. I just feel Lisa's passion right now. She just fired me up. I just coming in. I love listening to this in the morning. Always start my morning devotion after I do my devotion in the morning. That's the first thing I do. Listen to this call and listen to Paul Hutchings just fire me up and getting me going through the day with the power of the belief, what you need to succeed in your life, what you need to succeed in this business, it's your belief. At time when maybe you first started on this call, because some of you are new, some of you are just coming in, and it's like, because I remember when I first started, I was listening to Paul. I was following Paul Hutchings, following John Chapman, some of the people on this call here, And they were always talking about that stuff. But it never made sense to me because all I wanted was the money. You know, I wanted to get the money. I wanted to see results. But I couldn't get my mind to shift yet. As soon as I start doing that and I start coming to this call and I start learning things about moving from the competitive mindset to the creative mindset, things just start happening. Things just start flowing. The right people start falling into my life. And it's just the power of belief and being able to come to a place with the people that knows what they're talking about, who's studying it. Because sometimes even the people who makes it to the top, even the athletes, even the actors, sometimes they can't even define it. They just know they had that feeling. They just know they had that mindset when they were going through it. But when they're at the top, they can't really relate. But coming to a place right now, like this call, where we can define the belief, we can define every thread and understanding how you can just set your mindset to what you need in the universe, who's God, who's actually going to make ways, and it's just going to happen when you can actually believe. And when you study every successful people's mind, because some people, they might think, well, look at Michael Jordan right now. You know, he's the best NBA player that everybody looked him up for the game. But when you look into his story, he actually got cut out from the team. And he went home and practiced 8 hours a day, you know, shooting basketball, getting the right arch, getting the right arm, doing his thing until he finally makes it, you know, and everybody see him, oh, Michael Jordan, he's the biggest guy, but not knowing and not seeing the belief that he had into himself. So many other people, like, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, I want to tell you that wherever you are in your business, whatever you got to do, just do it and believe, and it shall happen. And I remember seeing that movie about Facebook, and he got to a point, he had no money. He had to borrow money. And some people might find themselves in the same stage where you have to borrow money for your business going because you believe so much into what you're doing. You believe so much you're going to be succeeding because you have the techniques over here. We have the simple step-by-step. You just follow, believe, and it shall happen, and you shall see it done. Same thing happened to him, and today we have Facebook because he believed into himself. And the other day I was just with my wife. We went to see our in-laws, and I was staying at the house, you know, talking with some of my brothers-in-laws, and we had a great time. You know, I was there for the weekend, and I decided to stay for Monday. Monday came, I didn't go home. I decided, you know what, I'm just going to stay for Tuesday because I didn't have to go nowhere. I work from home. I work online. They're like, what? You know what, let's stay for Wednesday. And I was just thinking about just the power of believing in what you're doing, just the power of living your dreams and going after that. And one night, staying there, I stayed up the whole 24 hours. Now I'm not encouraging anybody on this call to stay up 24 hours because I have a degree in nursing. I am in the medical field, and I know sleep is very important. But there's a point that you're going to get to. The way you're going to want your success so bad that sleep sometimes is not going to matter. And one thing they said about 50 Cent, one time he was making a movie, and through the movie, when he was not shooting the movie, he was making the soundtrack. And they asked 50, you know, when do you get sleep? He's like, sleep? Sleep is for people who are broke, people who doesn't have the dream. See, when you have a dream, sometimes you're going to even give up your sleep. You're going to go out of your way to see it come through. And that's how the universe will give you what you want because you will not give up until you get what you want. I love you guys. Keep believing. Keep going after your dreams. With that being said, back to you, Paul.
Now, that is a man who is on fire. Gator, you are awesome. Let me clear.
Smart.
1 second.
Good morning, my friend. Paul.
Darcy.
How are you?
Hey, Rick. I'm doing good, man. How are you? Oh, where'd you go? Star 6, come back out.
How are you?
Excellent.
Yes, you know, it comes off in your voice every day. You know, and I got to tell you, it's the simple things. It's the little things that makes a difference. You know, you come on this call. You may have blind faith, but it's that repetition. I heard somebody said, repetition is the mother of all skills. And when you keep on coming, you keep on pushing, you're going to see. You're going to see and feel. That feeling is so powerful because that's that, you hear the thing people talk about, that's that energy. You know, your vibes. You know, We all know these things. You understand? Everybody on this line can relate to a vibe. Let's put it the most common things. I don't like that person's vibes, or man, I love that person's spirit. It takes me, or something like that. You know, you can meet somebody for the first time. It's like, wow, they got the kind of energy that you felt like you've known them all along. It's those little things that makes it fun in life. You got to have fun. I heard Napoleon Hill said one time, a doctor, a preacher, a pastor said, don't take life too damn seriously. And he said, wow. You asked him to explain what that meant, and he said, if you take life too damn seriously, you'll be damning yourself. And Napoleon Hill and I have a similar attitude about things. And I tell you, the more and more I read about him, I get to understand him. I call him Uncle Napoleon. I'm telling you that you have to have this attitude of belief. Everybody on this call believe in something. At first, you have to believe in yourself. You got to get this life energy, you know. It's so incredible that, wow, you know, I go around with a smile on my face every day because, you know what, I believe. And when you believe, you can achieve. It's incredible. The power on this call, man, the energy on this call. You see the life shaping, molding like putty. Somebody said the world can be your oyster. Mr. Hutchings, back to you, son of day filled with opulence. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rick. Yeah,
hey, Paul.
Hey, morning, Paul.
I'm
sorry,
Paul.
Gerald.
Bill, I thought I heard.
Marcus?
Jabril?
Gerald.
Who is that?
Marcus. They are?
Holy cow. We got a lot of people coming out here. Oh, man. All right, 1, 2, 3, go. Who's first?
Gerald.
Bart.
Drill. Who was that, Drill or Jabril or Bill? Who was that?
Gerald Daniels.
Jerry Daniels. Who is it? Go for it.
Yeah.
Whoever that was. Daniels. Last name Daniels.
Gerald. Hey.
Oh, Jim.
Hey.
Okay, Jim.
No, Gerald. But anyway, Paul, good morning, guys. I just want to share a quick quote with you guys. Hey, the quote is, I don't know who said it, but believe in yourself and you can do unbelievable things. That's all I wanted to say. Talk to you guys later.
That's great. Thank you.
That is O'Neill, Paul, Spartan, Clearwater.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Clearwater.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever spoken on this call, and I just want to say something. I believe. What a miracle, I swear to God. Been on this call now about 7 weeks, and you've just changed my life. I just got to say something. I got to reach out to you, buddy. I first started on this call, and I had a limited belief system. I did not know how to be, grateful to the universe and what comes to you. And you've just taught me so much, and I want to thank you. And I just got to say, Paul, you inspire us every day. You give us the energy that subconsciously we get to go out in the world and we get to impact other people. And we make such a big difference because of you and because of this mastermind group. Sorry, geez, I'm a little emotional, but you got me so fired up. Going back to what Cater said, the last 3 days, I got 2 hours of sleep the night before last. This morning, got up at 6:30 in the morning, and it's just because of my belief. Finally, I believe. And since I've been able to achieve that, everything is changing for me. It's just coming to me. The skies are opening up, and the miracles are happening left and right. And now it's like a flood, and it's coming at me. And I just got to say one more time, thank you very much, Paul. You're an inspiration. Thanks to the whole group here, John Chapman. You're an amazing guy. I just love to listen to you guys, and that's it. So thanks a lot, and have a great day, guys. Appreciate it. Believe. See you later.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much. You made me cry a little bit. That's why we do this call, everyone, right there. That is why we do this call. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, *6, who's next?
Hey, Paul, JR.
Yeah, JR, go ahead, buddy.
What is up, man? I appreciate you. I appreciate this call. This is my first time talking, too, but I just had to share this story that I had when I was a kid. We were talking about childlike faith. I woke up one morning. I was about 5 or 6 years old, and I went to my mom and dad, and I said, today I'm going to go outside, and I'm going to play with a bird. And they looked like they looked at me like I was absolutely crazy. And that's exactly what I did. I walked outside in the backyard. I remember it like it was yesterday, and this raven flew down in our yard. And I sat there and I played, and I held this raven in my hand for about an hour outside. And they were looking out the window, my parents. They could not believe what they were seeing. And it's just amazing what the power of belief will do, especially the childlike faith that we have talked about. And, we talk about how the Bible defines faith, which is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I'd heard it said before, I think, by a preacher, how that hope is not just a hope like, gee whiz, I hope this happens, or I hope I make this amount of money, or whatever it may be. But it is an intense expectation of what you believe will absolutely come to pass. And that's what I wanted to share this morning. I appreciate you, Paul.
Wow.
Hey, Paul.
Powerful,
Hey,
JR. Yeah,
Paul,
go ahead,
John. Man, guys, I tell you what, I cannot express to you the joy that I am feeling right now to hear all of these new callers come out and just share with us. You know what? I got to tell you, I have got a new power phrase. That power phrase is, today I'm going to walk outside and play with the bird. Today I am going to make $1,000. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. Guys, without a doubt, it's such a pleasure to be able to learn from you, to be able to share with you, and to be able to mastermind. That is what we've come together. We've come together as a true mastermind. We have come together and we have learned that we are not a machine, but yet we do have access to a machine. We have access to a guaranteed success mechanism. Wrap your head around that. Guaranteed success mechanism. As long as you put in the work, as long as you do the reading, as long as you engage and you implement, your life will change. This isn't a if, and, or maybe. This is guaranteed. So the bottom line is that I just want to send a super fat shout-out to everyone that gets on this call every morning. You have got me fired up. Back to you, Paul.
Hey,
wow. Yeah, who's next? Go ahead. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Hey, morning, guys.
Good morning.
Hi, how you doing? This is my first time getting on this call, and I want to tell you guys something. I appreciate you guys, man, because a while back I envisioned this whole mastermind here. Before I don't even know most of you guys. I don't know none of you guys. It's my first time on this call, but a long time ago, maybe about a year ago, I envisioned this. I asked for this because I saw in my life where I needed to connect with a bunch of people that's like-minded. So I was reading a couple of books. One of them was Think and Grow Rich. Listened to a lot of audiobooks just on my own because I felt deeper in myself like something is different about me, I guess. So I went searching, and I picked up a couple of literatures here and there, and here it is. The mastermind group in Think and Grow Rich says meet with your mastermind group once a week. Well, we're doing it now, and I envisioned this. Speaking of belief, I'm an avid cyclist, and I believed that one day I was going to be participating in a race, and I was going to race with a bunch of guys and just go out there and just travel and hang out. Well, lo and behold, like the guy just said, you have to do your part. You could believe and sit down and don't do anything, but you got to do your part. Well, within that time frame that I was believing and going in on my bicycle and training and whatnot, I wound up getting on a team just because I believed. So if you believe that you could do anything in life, whether it's about money, bettering your relationship or whatever, helping other people, it will happen. You just do your part. And I wanted to share that, and I appreciate you guys. It's my first time hanging out with you guys, and I'm coming back for more. I just got on Facebook, and I just blast this number throughout Facebook, like, listen, you guys got to get on this call. I'm doing the texts through my phone. I want people to get in contact with this group because this is like, it's called Daily Mindset. A lot of people get up in the morning and just head on out without even they do have a mindset, but the mindset they just go out and just get things done and go about their business. But if they get a gist of this in the morning, I'm almost positively sure that it would change their life. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Oh, man, so exciting. Thank you. So glad you're here. Powerful. There was a lady coming out. Who was that?
That was Michelle from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Hey, Michelle, good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm actually a returning caller. I started getting on probably about 10 or 12 days ago and going through the book and downloading the free PDF to my iPad, so I'd always have it with me. But at any rate, what I wanted to share, and maybe not to be biased, but primarily with some of the women on this call, because I think that maybe they can relate to my story, is when you spoke yesterday, Paul, I was so encouraged because oftentimes you hear of or you see successful people like yourself and John Chapman and so many other people on the call. You guys are just tearing it up, and you look at everybody from the outside and you think, oh, it just, they were overnight success people. They just logged on, got a domain name, and they got all this traffic, and poof, And for people like me, I've been attempting online marketing for probably around a year now, and it's been a struggle for me, but I love struggles in my life. I love striving and never giving up. And I look at you and John Chapman and, like I said, so many other people, and knowing from your story yesterday, you talked about 14 businesses. I was like, holy smokes, I've been in like 6 network marketing businesses. I'm not alone. I thought I was crazy. But after each one not working out for whatever reason, I never give up. And I love the theme that we've been talking about lately about being a creator. And what you said today about what differentiates us from animals is that we can create things. We can choose our goals. And in the theme of, just doing what you have to do to get where you got to go and being a creator, that instinct in us has allowed me, for example, my primary struggle with online marketing is that I have to make money in like the quote-unquote the real world in order for that to fuel me in my attempts to be successful in online marketing. And so I have created my own website with my girlfriend Kate. We created a website called Espresso Clean, and because she's going to try online marketing with me as well as a team. And what we decided, we're going to really market ourselves as residential cleaners that just are great. We come in, we have our beautiful uniform, we've got a rhinestone T-shirt, just really people that can really make you proud that come out to clean your home. And we created a website, everything just out of scratch, our own marketing and our own business cards. And people already in our neighborhoods, they're like, wow, this is awesome. I've got a cleaner, but I don't mind switching, And so I just want to encourage the ladies out there, if you're in a position like I am where you hear about all the success stories, but you're struggling, don't give up. If you've got to do X, Y, and Z to get to your plan A, which is on, being successful online, don't give up. Do what you got to do. Just keep on creating inventive ways to get around. I think I'm quoting Michelle Obama, that she says, if you can't get in the front door, go to the side door. And I always say, go to the back door, knock on the window. If you can't get to the front of the house, look for a side door, look for a back door. Don't give up. Just keep on striving and create ways that you can do whatever your heart desires to do. So that's what I wanted to share. Back to you, Paul.
So inspirational, Michelle. Thank you for that. Wow.
Baltimore.
Yes, from Baltimore. Who's that? Go ahead.
This is Marcus. I really enjoy this program and the skills that we're learning. And my wife is interested. She just wanted to say a few words. Hold on.
Hi, Paul.
Hi.
I wanted to say to everyone to take from this, where there is a will, there is a way. And I say that because when I was smaller, I had a lot of trouble trying to learn things, and I was sickly all the time. And I had a brother who was born to read the newspaper at the age of 3. So my parents sort of put me on the back burner, and I became a fighter on my own. I couldn't write my name. I'm a college graduate today. I headed out to college, and I had trouble learning. But I realized that every day that God let the sun shine, that in every day there was a chance for me to do something with my life. So what I want to say to everyone is every day that the sun shines on your life, believe that anything is possible.
Back to you, Paul.
Oh, my goodness, and we are all standing up out of our seats giving you a standing ovation. Wow, thank you. Wow.
Thank you.
Star 6, who's next?
Jim from Denver.
Jim, good morning. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, listen, when I was 5 years old, my grandfather, now I'm 60, so this was a long time ago. When I was 5 years old, my grandfather said, hey, Jim, you've got some warts on your right hand, and we're going to get rid of those warts this morning. And I said, okay, what are we going to do? And he said, I want you to go outside and get a paper bag, and for every wart that you have on your hand, I want you to get a rock, a small rock, and put it in the bag. And then I want you to seal the bag, and we're going to go take a walk downtown. This is a very small town, about maybe 750 people, so it's a small town. He says, we're going to go for a little walk, and I want you to drop the bag at wherever you want to, but you can't look back. You can't look back and see where you dropped it. And then we're going to go home, and then we're going to look at your hand and see if you have any warts on your hand. This is on the top, not the palm, but the other side. So we get home, and he says, okay, now you can look at your hand, and I'm telling you, there were no warts on my hand. Back to you, Paul. That's what happens when you believe as a child.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. I'll tell you what, this call is just blowing me away today. Star 6, who's next? We have a few minutes left.
Wilton Perkins.
Good morning, Paul. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Doing good, man.
Wow, man. I tell you what, the human voice is the most powerful instrument in the universe. I mean, I'm so fired up from last night's meeting, and then today to listen to all of these wonderful people on this call. This is definitely a gift from God. But what I want to share is just the power of the belief of a child. In many places, the Bible does say a child shall lead them, have the faith of a child over and over again. And I have my own story. About 20 years ago, I got divorced, and I had my son was about 5 years old, and he stayed with my wife, and they were in North Carolina, and I had to move to Chicago to start over again. And I was just missing my son, and he was missing me so much also. He would actually get sick sometimes. So I did whatever I had to do to get back down to North Carolina. My finances were still kind of funky at the time. But I made a way to get down there, and I got me a motel room. And I didn't have a car, but I had some money. I had some cash. My finances were so messed up, I didn't even have a credit card. I just had cash. But I figured I'd rent a car when I got down. I actually had flown down. And so me and my son were in the motel room, and I got cash, but I can't get a car because you need a credit card. And so we're stuck in this motel room. And it's this little small town in North Carolina, Rayford, North Carolina. And so there's a few little things. We walk around a little bit, but we end up back in this motel room watching television. And so he gets on his knees, and I get on my knees, and I say, Chris, we're going to pray. I know God didn't send me down here to be able to spend this time with you and just to sit in this room. We need a car some kind of way. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to believe God for a car. So we both get on our knees, me on one side of the bed, he on the other side. And we just start thanking God for a car and thanking him for being so good to us and bringing us back together. And 10 minutes later, there's a knock on the door. My ex-wife's husband says, Wilton, I don't know if you got a way to do it or not, but I brought my second car here for you. I brought my second car here for you if you need a ride or something, you need to get around, because I didn't know if you were able to rent a car or whatever. And with that, I'll send it back to you. The universe does bend for us when we believe.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Thank you, Wilton, for sharing that with us.
Hello.
Yeah, who's that?
This is Maurice from Chicago.
Maurice, good morning.
Good morning. This is actually my first time on the call as well. I just want to say, everybody here has got the right idea and the right attitude. This is the key to being successful in anything you do in life. It's that being positive, that believing. You know, I talk to so many of my friends, and, you know, people are going through different situations. Everybody has to go through a struggle to reach greatness. Nothing is just given to you. And I tell them all the time, I say, you know, if you're surrounded by negative people, you're going to be in a negative area. You're going to have negative thoughts. You know, get positive. Start speaking life into your business. Start speaking life into your life. You know, it's so powerful, things that you affirm, things that you believe in. When you actually speak that and just put it out there, you'll be amazed at what the universe, what God, what things will turn in your life. You know, it's just amazing, because we struggle and we search and we just do all this unnecessary work. And the power just lies within. If we believe, if we speak positive, if we take those positive actions, it's nothing that we can't achieve. You know, and you just got to know it, you got to believe it, and you got to do it. You know, you got to have that action behind that faith, and that's just a simple key. We have a list of things to do to get to a certain result. You got to do those things to get to that result. It's not a magic formula. It's not anything that's like, okay, well, you know, maybe if I, you know, drink orange juice in the morning at 3 a.m., it'll work for me. No, it's doing the simple things that you got to do, believing in them, trusting in them, staying positive, and keep doing them until it happens, and it will happen. And back to you. I appreciate the time to talk. Thank you.
Maurice, wow, thank you for being here. Welcome your first time, and love what you've shared, my friends. Wow, what a powerful call. I'll tell you what, I believe that all things are possible to him or her that believeth, and this call has increased my belief level. I love you guys. Let's get out there and let's be believers, and let's be reminded, as Maurice shared with us, if you say you believe but you don't take action, you're lying. Because if you really believe, you're going to take action, and you're going to believe that good things will happen. You'll believe that you'll get better. You'll believe that your goals will come into your life. You'll believe that people will show up. Ideas will show up. Calls will show up. It'll all happen if you believe. So, folks, let's be believers. Get out there. Take action today. I love you guys. Make it a great day. Thank you for enhancing my life and bringing some sunshine into my mind this morning. And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning on the Think and Grow Rich call. Bye for now.